This is a tough one, guys. Our cruise itinerary is smack dab in the middle of the path of Hurricane Fiona. We've had a tough 24 hours. The question is, should we cruise or should we cancel? Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with a quandary that I would love for you to weigh in on. It is hurricane season. In case you did not know, hurricane season is defined, at least the Atlantic hurricane season, is defined by the Jason months. June, July, August, September, October, November. Remember Jason with an extra J, and you will know what the hurricane season is on the East Coast of the United States and in the Caribbean. And it's always risky to cruise during hurricane season. You do not know when storms will form. You do not know when storms will intensify. And you do not know when your cruise will be impacted by a storm in the ocean. Well, that's certainly been the case this week as we've seen the intensity of Tropical Storm Fiona become a hurricane and make her way through the Caribbean and now bearing down on Bermuda with an eventual destination of the Maritimes in Canada. It's especially challenging for us because we're set to fly to Quebec City, stay in Quebec City for 2 days, get on the Holland America Nieuw Statendam, and cruise to those very ports that are in the Maritimes in Canada. Now, this is an interesting cruise for us. It's our first cruise with Holland America Line, and it's the first time we've ever been invited on a full press trip. This trip is being entirely paid for by Holland America Line. They're taking care of our airfare, they're taking care of our hotel, they're taking care of our transfers, they're giving us money for excursions, they're giving us money for specialty dining, they're giving us money for internet. It is the full Monty. They are doing us a solid. We've been trying to work with the PR firm for Holland America for a while, and it seemed like the stars had aligned for this trip. It was an itinerary that we'd never been on, a bucket list itinerary, the Canadian Maritimes. And so there's a lot riding, I feel like, on this Holland America press trip. And so that adds a level of pressure to decide whether or not to travel into a hurricane. So as we watch the modeling of this storm make that trajectory north, I reached out to Holland America, and here's the concerns that I had. Concern number one is air travel delay. We've flown quite a bit this year, and almost on every air travel leg, we've had some sort of delay that did not involve a hurricane, and now there is air travel in the proximity of a hurricane. Now, of course, the airports are more inland. They're not as close to the sea as where the hurricane is churning, but it still troubles me that there could be delay in air travel, which could delay us to get to the cruise ship. Now, fortunately, we can embark on the cruise ship on Saturday in Quebec City. It doesn't leave until Sunday, so we have a nice window there. If we can't get there on Saturday, we could still get there on Sunday, even though the cruise officially starts on Saturday. That's concern number one. Concern number two is alteration of the itinerary. Cruise ships, cruise lines will not travel into the heart of a storm just to make a cruise port. So if the storm is bearing down on Halifax, for example, they won't go there. They'll go somewhere else. And so there's a good chance that this bucket list cruise that includes all of those stops that we want to see could be altered. Worst case scenario would be they would skip ports, add more sea days. A better case scenario is that they would go to an alternate port. But we are in that realm where there could be disruption to the itinerary. And then the third concern is, what are the seas going to be like with a hurricane in the area or a hurricane that has passed through the area? We're very fortunate neither Jenny nor I get seasick, but a week in rocky seas does not sound like the most appealing of scenarios. And so those are the three concerns. We reached out to Holland America with those concerns, and they got back to us and they showed us the models that they're using to track the storm. And they're showing that in every location where we're supposed to be and where the ship is supposed to be, the storm will have already passed. And while we're certainly excited to see good and clean models, there's still a few things that the models cannot address that are still concerns. Three big ones. The first one is, will air travel be impacted by the storm? That's going to be an unknown until we get to the airport to see if our flight stays on time. The big concern number two is, will the ports of call on the itinerary still be able to receive cruise ships? Will the itinerary change? Because what we know about Fiona is she is destructive. We have seen flooding in Puerto Rico. We've seen part of the dock damaged in Grand Turk. And other hurricanes have left lasting impressions on ports of call. causing cruise ships not to be able to call there. And so even though our port of call in Nova Scotia, for example, will be after the hurricane has passed through, we will not know the state of Nova Scotia, how their facilities are until the hurricane passes through, which that's not happened yet, as the hurricane is, working its way to Bermuda. So that's a concern. And then, of course, the condition of the seas. You will not know the condition of the seas until after the storm has passed. And the thing that's a real bummer is, this is our first time working with Holland America Line with their PR department, with the people in Holland America Line. They have put amazing amounts of effort into getting us on this cruise ship. We dropped the ball early when it comes to communication, and we were trying to catch up because we missed some communication. They've been very gracious, very helpful, very accommodating to even our challenges. And, so there's that aspect. Like, I don't want to let them down. I don't want to not work with Holland America again. I don't want them to have a bad taste in their mouth trying to work with us. And so, we have to make a decision. Should we cruise or should we not? But we have to make a decision based on all of those factors, and we have made a decision. I'm going to tell you what that decision is, but before we get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank you in advance. We decided to cancel the cruise. As painful as that is, we decided to cancel the cruise. It hurts my heart. It hurts my heart really for all of the effort that went into it from the PR and from the Holland America side. But there's too many variables there. We've gotten reports from people that are in that area right now that are having their itineraries altered. We don't really know what the storm is going to do until it does its thing. And while I certainly appreciate all of the effort that the cruise lines put into making sure that their cruise ships are safe and that the models look good, again, nature is unpredictable, and you really don't know until you know. Now, there's a lot of people that are still going to be on that cruise. I hope that cruise goes off without a hitch. I hope that we were just being overly cautious. But at the end of the day, this was going to be a really special cruise for us, our first time on Holland America, our first time going to the Maritimes, and I didn't want that to be overshadowed by potential hurricane issues. I didn't want to come away with a poor feeling because of the hurricane, which I know the hurricane wouldn't be Holland America's fault, it wouldn't be the cruise ship's fault, but I really want that first experience with Holland America to be a good experience so that I can relate that to you in a best conditions kind of way. But yeah, what do you think of that choice? Would you have cruised or would you have canceled? That is the question. Time for you to sound off in the comments below. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. You can do me a solid by hitting the like button. And unfortunately, if you do not hit the like button, I will be forced to punish you, and your punishment will be this. Your next scheduled cruise will be in the path of a storm. Nobody wants that, because then you got to make these hard decisions. Do me a solid, hit the like button. This is Tony for Lido, Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.